Hey, what's good, everybody? How we doing on this fine Monday? Hold on a second. I just had to turn all the refrigerator off. You know, it gets a little annoying sometimes. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to the Monday show. It's a great time. Good time to be alive. Oh, so much going on. I haven't been on in a few days. I figured I might as well get on here before I go out on my evening bike ride. Not my bicycle. I'm not Joe Biden. I don't know how to ride a bicycle. I just have a dirt bike. All right. So where are we going to start here today? There's so many things, so many stuff. All this stuff came up today too. It appears that they're saying that they've hacked old Hunty Biden's phone, and there's a lot of bad stuff in there. I mean, this dude, he's a pimple that just it won't go away. Like, he put as much of that OxyClean or whatever on it, and just he probably hit that son of a bitch with kerosene, and he ain't gonna go away. He just keeps popping up. But there was some stuff that came out with a text that he'd sent to Jill, calling her a C word and a lot of other nasty things. And I think it was because she had offered him a place to stay when he was going through rehab. He posted a video yesterday of him weighing out crack cocaine. I mean, that's not incriminating. I don't know. I mean, I guess we have to get to the point where we all have to understand that nothing's going to happen with this guy. Like, it doesn't matter, right? Because this mush-head's kid. And I'm looking at him right now. Okay, so he did his little speech. And I don't know. Did you guys see it where he did the Ron Burgundy, right? You know, remember Ron Burgundy, where he they say he'll read everything on that teleprompter. And I don't remember exactly what he said at the end, but he got to the end of the teleprompter and he said, so fuck you, San Diego, or some shit like that. But he got to the end and he read, the little prompt. And it said end quote, and it was in the, they're not ellipses, and they're not parentheses, but it's just what they have. I'm trying to think of the proper terminology for the symbol. Basically, it says in caps with two triangles on each side. It says end quote, and then return to start or return to beginning or something. It's like he's reading a fucking choose your own adventure book, And the White House got caught trying to edit the footage, which is crazy. I mean, you go to whitehouse.gov and it's supposed to be a transparent deal. Like, they're at the point with this guy right now. I think they're just at their wits' end. They don't know what they're going to do. And he's sitting there talking about running again. And then you had Kamala. I saw her earlier today. She's like, he plans on running, and I'll run with him. Does her stupid fucking cackle again. It's just like, Jesus Christ. When are they need to just put these people back in the cellar or whatever. I don't know what you do. I mean, contact the people that run Chuck E. Cheese. Maybe they can make an audio animatronic. Maybe that's what he is. Who knows? It's absolutely amazing how this guy thinks he's going to run again. The dude, let's face it. Like Joe Rogan said on Lex Friedman, the last time he appeared on his podcast, he was just laughing. He's like, Trump's going to be, if Trump runs, he's going to be running against a dead man. I mean, here's what happened. He gets heckled by the crowd. I'm going to pull this up. This is off C-SPAN, so I think that this is fair use. So let's go ahead and take a look at this nonsensical bullshit.
No mistake. Sit down, you'll hear what I have to say. If you think...
What a pompous ass. Sit down.
I've been trying to tell you this for years. Let me finish my comment. Let him talk. No one... Okay?
What's that pudgy fucker gonna do?
You gotta love it. When the most popular president...
I mean, the people have had enough of him. They're standing up. I mean, granted, this has happened in Trump stuff too. You had people jump up and make a scene, but I mean, this guy. I mean, I was watching another video. I saw him earlier. He's riding on his fucking stupid bicycle again. Now, why in the fuck is he out there riding around on that goddamn bike? I mean, what kind of staff does this guy have? You gotta be saying, listen, dude, you ain't going back out on that bike, homeboy. Like, no more bike riding, dude. Like, you're done. You're hit. You're on hit, dude. You're done with the bicycle, man. You ain't doing it no more. He's out there riding the thing, and there's a guy across this canal, like in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. And the dude's all, he's like, calls him a bitch. Biden, you bitch. I was like, whoa. I mean, Salty Cracker had that on his show earlier. I was like, holy shit. It's like, this dude's off the chain, man. But I mean, that's the reaction. I mean, they're saying that there's 13% of the country actually think that the country's going in the right direction. Who are those 13%? His family? Who is the 13%? We got 340 million roughly. So, I don't know. I mean, where are these people? Is that what, 340,000? If my math is not completely incorrect, which I'm sure it is. I can figure it out though right quick because I'm a math magician. So we got 340 million. And if we got 13% of that, okay, I was wrong. We're looking at that's 44 million people think that it's going in the right. Now, how are they coming up with this number? These polls are they're just so ridiculous and skewed and goofy. For one thing, they're mostly taking these polls from people in the city. They're not talking to, 1,500 people? I don't know how they work. I shouldn't spout off on it, but I know that that's not a number that is indicative of the entire population because not every single person in the country got asked this question. I personally don't speak to a single person on a daily basis that doesn't have anything bad to say about what's going on right now. It wasn't that way when Trump was in office. People were working, gas prices were down, food prices were fine, the supply chain was good. He was actively trying to get us out of wars, but couldn't do so because every time he tried to do something, they were stepping in the way. They red baited everybody for all those years over nothing. They're still trying to do it. You got that Shifty Schiff is still running his neck, it's just absolutely ridiculous. These people can't let it go, and they're just absolutely terrified that Trump's going to run again, which he pretty much in Alaska the other day, he hasn't, he hasn't sealed the deal. He hasn't come out and just said, yeah, I'm announcing my candidacy. He's waiting until the last minute to do it. I think number one, he's, he doesn't want to put it out there because then he falls under all sorts of, red tape and bullshit. And he's trying to figure out who's going to be on the ticket. I think DeSantis is a pretty good call. It's been my guess the whole time. Excuse me again. It's been my guess the whole time that's going to be DeSantis. But DeSantis supposedly is polling higher on his own than Trump. If I was Republican, I'd say the smart play would be you run with DeSantis as the VP, transition into him for the, for 2028. And if you're coming from the Republican side of things, then you got 12 years. But you don't know where these Republicans are coming from either because they're all wolves in sheep's clothing. It doesn't matter. The funny ticket to look at, though, is going to be the Democratic ticket because this is going to be fucking hilarious because they do not have a viable candidate for 2024. Who are you going to put out there? Beto O'Rourke? Mushmouth? You can't put Mush-head out there. He can't even talk. He's going out there and he's standing there and he's got his cue card. You can read it. Tells him, have you guys read that? It's crazy. It's like talking to a little kid. Every time he's mentioned on the cue card, it says, you, in capital letters, go to the podium. You sit in your seat. It is telling him exactly, and he manages to screw it up every time. It's telling him exactly what to do. Now, is that what we really, if we have to have a president, is that what we want? Some guy that needs his little instruction card? Like, here, dude, like, you sit here, okay? Now, don't move. Now, raise your hand if you need to speak. If you need to go to the bathroom, don't shit yourself over there, Joey. I mean, my goodness. You know? Speaking of shit, there was another one that came up the other day. In Ohio, somebody sent poop. Yeah, somebody sent poop in the mail. Poop. Okay? Human feces. At least they're assuming it was human. Maybe it was dog shit. I don't know. Regardless, to 25 state senators, Republican state senators in the state of Ohio. They didn't get delivered. And so whoever sent this shit, in a sense, the only person that they exposed their poop to were probably the Democratic postal workers that had to deal with their poop. Good move. Nice. This is how unhinged these idiots are. Absolutely unhinged. You know, and then you see Biden, he's going off and he's condemning this, he's condemning the goddamn Supreme Court. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen that happen where a president has just come out and called out the Supreme Court. I mean, he don't even know what's up. He doesn't know what's constitutional and what's not constitutional. I mean, the thing is, with the Roe v. Wade thing, everybody acts like it just completely banned abortions. No, it didn't. And if you live in a state where it did happen like that, then you know what? Get your ass out there and get moving on it and do what you need to do what you think you need to do. Get the votes behind it and you can change it. If everybody is so behind it, then you can't let just, I mean, it's like the same thing with this fucking federal government. You know, we sit here and we let these assholes dictate our daily lives, and we are the millions, and they're just a handful of fucking idiots, a handful of oligarchs. You know, and if you stand up against them, if you speak out against it, then you get shut down. You've got these little snively little shitheads out in Silicon Valley that think that they're the ones that get to decide, like, who gets to say what and what's acceptable and what's not. I mean, they've all but taken the First Amendment away. You know, when you sit here and the whole argument is between public utility or, you know, private company when it comes to all this stuff, when it comes to using the internet, and the internet should be for everybody. Quite frankly, I think everybody should have, I think it should be free internet. One thing I can tell you about in California, you go down to Santa Monica, Santa Monica, down by the pier and shit. Santa Monica has free Wi-Fi anywhere you go. It's out there for everybody. Now, that also opens up a whole thing for data mining and spying on people, of course, because obviously all that information is going somewhere. But I mean, I feel like the internet should be something that everybody should have, especially at this point in time. I mean, it's one of those things. You shouldn't have to pay for it. I mean, it's just like having power at your home, having heat. Everybody pays enough in taxes that these are the things that should be covered, not billions of dollars to go fight stupid wars. You pay your taxes, guess what? You know, everybody wants to talk about, we don't need socialism, this, that, and the other thing. We already live in a socialist country. We already do, people. You understand that's what your sales taxes are going for. That's what your federal income tax is going for. If you live in a state that has state income tax, that's what it's going for. It's going for social programs, supposedly. But what it's really going for is the military-industrial complex. And the fact of the matter is that every fucking cent that you spend in your entire life, money that means a lot to you on a day-to-day basis, the government is going to spend it like that. Quicker than that. It's gone. Look at the ticker. Get online, open it up, look at the national debt ticker, watch that sucker go. You want to see something that's disheartening? I mean, at that point, you just got to throw your hands up and go, what are we even concerned with here? That's a debt that's never going to be repaid. It has to keep going up for us to have money. And if it does stop, if it was all repaid somehow, which it can't be repaid because the currency's not even there. When you take money that doesn't exist and you charge interest on money that doesn't exist, and then you have people default, and then you turn around and foreclose on somebody's home, repossess a car. You know, there's no way that this monetary system, this financial system can ever be flush. If it is, then we're out of money. If it flushes, we are absolutely beyond bankrupt because there's no way to pay it off. 3% of the currency in our economic system is actually physical currency. The rest is a fake number. It's phony. It's fiat. Fiat. It's fake. It doesn't, I mean, legitimately, if you were to take the confidence away from it, it's worth just as much, if not less, than one of my note cards. I'd probably put more value on one of my note cards because at least I can write on it. I mean, it's silly. It's silly. And this is what motivates us. Think about what motivates you. What is your major concern every day? What's your major motivator? And I know I keep going back to this, but I'm trying to say, listen, if you think about it, really sit down, and think about it. Put all your material bullshit aside. Don't look at your stupid social media. Sit down and think about it. What causes the most problems in your day-to-day life? What causes you the most stress? What causes probably more relationships to deteriorate and break down than anything? Right? It's that MONEY, isn't it? Think about it. It is. And then when you have the lack of it, when we're going through this, I mean, let's not mince words here. We are in a recession, folks. They can say it's not. You can listen to that Janet Yellen get up there and say whatever she wants to say. We're run by a country full of geriatric old mush-heads. And I don't know how this ended up happening. It's really curious. I mean, even Trump is old as shit. Look at that. You got Pelosi, what's she, 82? Pushing 83? Shithead, he's at 80 or very close to it. Yellen, who knows how, she's so out of touch. At least she admitted she was wrong. But I mean, she's borderline nursing home material. I mean, you look at Jerry Nadler. Good God. You guys saw the meme I did with him. Jesus Christ, talk about having a front butt. I mean, he looks like the barrel that the rodeo clowns jump into. I mean, you got these, Mitch McConnell, that guy's got you've seen a turkey neck before, right? I mean, that dude, he cinches that collar up, man. That turkey neck is hanging out there he looks like he's been eating way too much Ben and Jerry's or something, And then you got people like this Newsom idiot out of California. He's putting commercials out there in Florida about how free California is. Really? You got the highest fuel prices in the country. You have the most homeless of anywhere in the country. How are you going to try and entice people to go from Florida? And like DeSantis said, he goes, you know what? He goes, you come out here to my state. He goes, and you go around. He goes, you'll see plenty of California license plates out here. He goes, but I guarantee you're not going to see any Florida plates in California. I mean, he laughed. He heard about that shit. He started laughing up on the podium, man. It was funny as hell. I like DeSantis. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, everybody wants, he said it ain't passed the don't say gay. And now he didn't. There was nothing in that 7 pages that said don't say gay. And if you haven't read the 7-page bill, then you can't speak on it. You want to speak about a bill. Okay, there was nothing in that bill that even mentioned the word gay. Nothing in that bill that even said anything about don't say, like Ron Perlman. You see Ron Perlman? Mr. Motorcycle Gangster from Sons of Anarchy, lose his mind. That dude's a whack job. He's a wackadoodle. But yeah, there's a clip here. DeSantis would eat Newsom for lunch. Like I said, Newsom is basically, I mean, I would say that dude is, if I was to make an analogy or a comparison, he would be like Matthew McConaughey's older brother that isn't allowed at Thanksgiving dinner. I keep saying that. It shows up and always causes problems. He puts all these mandates on everybody in California, and then he's at ball games and shit, yucking it up with Magic Johnson with his little mask hanging off. Let's see what DeSantis has for a response here. Wrong volume.
Targeting DeSantis and Florida GOP lawmakers. We'll show you that ad first.
It's Independence Day, so let's talk about what's going on
Here we
in
go.
America. Freedom is under attack in your state.
Freedom's under attack in your state.
Banning books. Making it
Banning
harder to
books.
vote, restricting speech in classrooms, even criminalizing women and doctors.
The ad debuted on the 4th of July.
What is he-
Newsom also invites Floridians who are, quote, fed up to move to California.
How many Floridians are fed up?
DeSantis had this to say.
Everyone wants to talk about me in Florida. I can just tell you this. I was born and raised in this state, and until the last few years, I rarely, if ever, saw a California license plate in the state of Florida.
Look at the guy behind him laughing.
I don't see a lot of them. I can tell you, if you go to California, you ain't seeing very many Florida license plates.
Governor DeSantis went on to make comparisons between Florida and
I think that's hilarious. How does this Newsom come out with this stuff? This guy's a moron. I mean, he just about gets recalled, right? Like he damn near got recalled, right? I mean, and so you're going to come out and with this shit? I mean, what, we got a U-Haul salesman coming at him now? I don't know. It's hilarious. Here he goes. Here's his freedom is under attack. BS.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is targeting Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and GOP lawmakers in a new ad scheduled to begin airing on Fox News today.
And this is out of CBS Miami.
So let's talk about what's going on in America. Freedom is under attack.
You're not allowed at 4th of July either.
Leaders, they're banning books, making it harder to vote.
What number was that he... Hold on, let me go back. Rick Scott's Voter Act would disenfranchise military, other voters. What? Florida bans more than 40% of math books after review. Where's this come? Courtesy Gavin Newsom Twitter. Where's that number coming from? Bans 40% of math books. That's what he's talking about, banning. Has anybody, hey, parents, any of y'all tried to do math with your kids recently? I hope they ban some of those books too, because that stuff's bullshit. Like, I can't even sit down with my kid and even figure out I can figure out the problem, but I mean, to show the work, I mean, it's it's ridiculous. It's you're sitting there and you're boxing this in and circling this, and and I'm like, dude, if you get the answer, then that's all you need. Is that not the purpose of math? Is it not the purpose of math to get to come up with, the answer, right? You got an equation. You need an answer. In the real world, that's how it works. I always got in trouble in math class because I didn't show my work either. And my son's had that happen. And I'm like, listen, if he needs to show the work to get to the answer, then he can show the work. But if you don't have to do that, then why? It's a waste of time, right? That's called inefficiency. But the government and the education system doesn't understand about what efficiency is. And they damn sure don't understand what inefficiency is, because, good God, just for a prime example, right off the top of my head, Cody, Wyoming. We are a 3.5-hour drive from Casper, Wyoming. Okay? Let's say I have an employee working for me. He's got a P.O. box literally 4 or 5 blocks from my house at the post office. Okay? I go in there and I have an envelope with his paycheck and his pay stub. It's addressed to his P.O. box, which is in the building. I put my forever stamp on it, whatever those are costing now, upwards of 50 cents. I put my stamp on it. I go and I drop it in the basket, right in the entryway. I look to my right, all the P.O. boxes, they're right there. Let's say whatever number it is, 29, I don't know, whatever. I can look and see it. I can see the P.O. box from where I dropped that envelope, right? You know what happens? That envelope, it gets put in a bin. It goes on a truck. It goes down to Casper, Wyoming, 3.5 hours away from here, where it's then stamped with the postmark, and then it's sent back here. When it's literally, I could take that if the P.O. box had a drop in it, I could just take it and go. Why wouldn't they do that? Why wouldn't you just have a little drop? Cut a little stupid little slit in the top of the P.O. box. You can drop an envelope in it. I mean, there's efficiency and there's inefficiency for you, right? I mean, and that's what government does. So the fact that this is quoting, and nobody probably even read this. They run through these quotes so fast on this stupid little. This is courtesy at Gavin Newsom / Twitter. Why is he going after DeSantis? Everybody I talk to from Florida that I know that lives down there, or I mean, so many people are thinking about moving there. Like I said, if I didn't live here in this state, that would probably be the one of the places I'd think about going. Just because at least you got some liberty down there, and you got some sensible fucking people in charge.
Making it harder to vote, restricting speech in classrooms, even criminalizing.
Restricting speech in classrooms. Now, you know what that goes after? That goes after the whole bill that said we're not going to sexualize our kids from kindergarten through 3rd grade. Like we're not going to sit here and bring this bullshit at them. Like, we're going to let them be kids. Anybody that's got a problem with that shouldn't have kids. You know what I'm saying? You got a problem with that? You're a jackwagon. They ain't saying nothing about, banning abortions after 15 weeks. Still get an abortion within 15 weeks of getting pregnant. I mean, I'm sorry, don't you have a pretty good idea? I mean, it's not ban. It's not just outright saying like you can't have an abortion. And then I would believe, and I haven't read through the legislature yet. I haven't read through it, but I'll do that because I do my due diligence. But I'd be willing to bet that there's a clause in there that says if there's something that develops later on in a pregnancy that's posing a threat to the mother's life, or if it turns out that there was the 1 point, that's the minuscule percentage of these rape and incest things that actually do end up with culminating in an abortion. If that were to come up, I'd imagine there's probably a nomenclature in that bill that covers that. So, I don't know. What else we got here?
Governor Newsom released the ad on his...
I mean, what's this guy doing? I mean, look at this guy. You don't want this guy at your house, right? Like, who wants to hang out with this guy? Is Slick Willie like you wouldn't believe? Look at this guy.
Twitter account which criticizes DeSantis and the GOP of new legislation.
You got the right to come out here and be homeless and get your ass shot up and have your business burned down.
Who are fed up to move to California. So far, Governor DeSantis has not.
I mean, I almost moved there a couple of years ago. I like California. Like I've said, don't get me wrong. I like the I like the state, the physical state. You know what I mean? The politics is fucking nonsense. I mean, this is a guy that just about got recalled. I mean, that means that the community and then called, excuse me, and then calls the guy that's going after him a white supremacist, a black man. I love that. I love how the woke left has now decided to call black people white supremacists. That's just incredible. I mean, I think that, like, when I look at, say, the prime example, I know I've mentioned this before, I'll bring it up again just because it's right there in front of my face, because I look up here and I see Karine Jean-Pierre right in front of me, and she's just hating. She's hating Peter Doocy every day. Peter Doocy's dropping deuce on her every day because she can't do anything but read that folder. She can't get up there and throw it off the cuff. She has to have it all written down for her, just like Joe. And at least one thing you could say about Peppermint Patty is that she could at least get up there and she could go off the cuff. I mean, yeah, she'd say the same things. She'd sit there and do that. Let me reiterate, she'd say that over and over, but she could actually sit there and if somebody asked her a question, she could look him in the eye and actually respond. Like, hey, you're a person. Let me give you a response that you deserve. This new... and so they bring her out. They bring Karine Jean-Pierre out, and excuse me. The first thing they do is proceed to talk about her sexuality. Number one, so she's introduced as the first LGBTQAI plus. Well, I don't know if I got that right or not. People are Babel. I don't care. One way, whatever, man. Whatever you want to do, whatever goes on in your bedroom or in your personal life, it's your business. As long as you're not doing any harm to anybody else. But they bring that up, and then the fact that she is a black woman, and it's the same with Ketanji Brown Jackson being appointed on the Supreme Court. I think that both those moves are racist. I think it's racist to say that you are absolutely, when a time comes to make an appointment, that you are going to appoint a black female. Do I think it's racist because I don't think that a black female should be on the Supreme Court? Of course not. I think that the person who is suitable for the job, best suitable for the job, you're talking about a lifetime appointment here. That's kind of a big deal. So to just take all other potential candidates for that position and cut them completely out because you want to grandstand on making a move based on a person's gender/sex, however you want to define that, and their sexual orientation. That you're just only going to take these people. I don't think that does anybody any favors. I don't think that it is. I don't see anything but racism there. When you're eliminating anybody else, I mean, people are people. In a position like that, you take the highest suited candidate for the position. You don't grandstand because it's going to be something that's going to help you politically. You don't do that. And then Cory Booker gets up there and starts just crying in his goofy fucking grant. That guy is such a turd. I mean, I loved it. He was all about the prison reform until that Second Chance Act became something that was introduced by Republicans. He doesn't want nothing to do with it. It's his big crying. I mean, he's one step from being in prison himself. Look at his background. He's been involved in some shady shit. That's why he hasn't run for president. He's got skeletons in his closet. But, anybody from New Jersey, I mean, come on. I mean, look at front butt Chris Christie. Jesus Christ, he's got a bad front butt too. God, watching him try and play softball, that one, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, dude, somebody get him some fucking sweatpants or something, Get him a gunny sack, something. I mean, how's that guy even, I don't even know. I'm watching him get in a fight with that guy at a baseball game. That was funny as hell. Anyway, I digress. So, and the other thing, too, is Biden comes out and condemns all this. Well, Biden is supposedly a devout Catholic, okay? Now, what are Catholics against? They're against abortion. They condemn it. I mean, Biden was denied communion in South Carolina when he was vice president. And the Vatican has warned U.S. bishops to be cautious with policies to address pro-choice Catholics in office. So it's okay, it's like one of those things. Okay, you think about religion, it's supposed to be right or wrong, right? Like if you condemn something in a religion, then it doesn't matter who that person is, it's condemned. Oh, no. Not in this case. I mean, absolutely crazy. Elon Musk is terminating the Twitter deal, which is funny. He's taking them for such a ride, and I don't know how anybody else sees this, but the way I see it is he's just been playing like he's been playing like a silly game of chess in his spare time. He asked them to disclose the percentage of bots, all that information, fake accounts, shit like that. They refused, and he said, "Nah, you're not giving me, what the deal was. You're giving me something that's way under that, and no, I'm pulling it." And so now they're going to try and take him to court. Well, then in court, they're going to be required to disclose the information in court. So they're going to try and take him to court to make him buy it because they know they're sunk. If they can't make this happen, their stockholders, the whole thing, Twitter, buy, which is fine with me. I couldn't care less. It's just, I mean, who cares? I always thought the whole idea was stupid anyways. Like I said, the first time I saw somebody told me they tweeted, and I was like, what is that? Are you trying to tell me what is that? Like a tiny fart? What's going on? I mean, it's like, what in the hell is that? And dude's like, no, you just talk about like what you're doing. I'm like, who gives a shit? Kind of like everything else and Bookface and everything. We all just want this validation. Dopamine dump. 5 million barrels of oil were sent to China and Europe out of our strategic reserves. Idiot gets up there, grandstands on this historic decision that he made to put out our strategic reserves. Okay. So as an American citizen, that's ours, right? That belongs to us. Like that's put there for a reason, it's like saving for a rainy day. Am I wrong? So it goes and gets put on these ships, and it's taken over to China, supposedly our nemesis, and then sent to different places in Europe. Why are we paying what we're paying? Why am I paying $6 a gallon for diesel fuel? And then 5 million barrels of the oil from the strategic reserve is being sent overseas. And they're saying, oh, we're doing it because otherwise, if we didn't, then the refineries would be over capacity. Well, the refineries are running at 95% capacity right now. I mean, you can't get you can get closer to 100%, I guess. But, I mean, at 95%, I would think that we would be able to, you could take that from the strategic reserve in when we need it, right? If you're going to release it, why is it not just opened up to release as needed? Does it all have to come out right now? See, this is bureaucratic, inefficient bullshit. And then they're saying, oh, well, the oil that we sent over there, it was subpar. It wasn't of the grade that we would want in our refineries. Well, why the hell was it in our fucking strategic oil reserve if it was the oil that was used for like heating oil or something that was not of the quality to make gasoline out of? Why would we have it in our strategic reserves? Anybody who has, vehicles, you've got lawnmowers, weed eaters, chainsaws, small engines. We all know how quickly gasoline deteriorates. You got to put stable in that. You do it to winterize all your stuff. Why in the hell would we have millions of barrels of subpar oil in our reserves? What good does that do us if, in fact, it's not there to be used for what we need it for, which is predominantly running our vehicles? It's just a lie. Another lie. Oh, well, that was the stuff we didn't want. What? Why would it be in the reserves? Why wouldn't that have been sent off immediately? And isn't that the shit that you get rid of? Like, hey, fire sale here. Send this over here to these people, I mean, it's like they want it for this or that, the other thing. There's no reason why we would have substandard oil in our reserves. Okay, so that's a lie. Just think about this. You got to think about these idiots and what they're saying, and nobody wants to say anything about it. Nobody wants to do anything. Nobody wants to upset the apple cart, right? Because, oh gosh. I'm going to make them mad and then I'm going to they're going to cut me off. I mean, I shared a video from Jackson Hinkle. He does a show called The Dive. He's been a regular guest on Jimmy Dore for some time now. I started watching his show, within the last 6 to 8 months. He's a younger guy, but he's really professional. He's got a really, really good way of looking at things. He does his homework. He produces a great show. He's covered Ukraine in a way that nobody in the mainstream media has covered, and that's by telling the truth. And so he's been demonetized by YouTube. He's been banned from Twitch. He's been, he can no longer accept payments from PayPal or Venmo. They're trying to shut him down. They're trying to ostracize him. I just sent him an email a little while ago just saying, hey, keep your head up, keep on trucking, man. Just keep on going, keep grinding, keep at him. Don't quit. Don't let him, don't let him shut you down. And he, that's what he's going to do. I mean, that's what he's saying. He's going to keep grinding, but he's never asked for subscriptions or advertisements or anything to keep his show going. And he's at the point right now where he's having to do that. And I was trying to tell him, hey man, do whatever you can to not sell out. I mean, I'm nobody in on this platform. I'm nobody in this space. I'm just who I am, but I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I haven't made a red cent off any of this. I will or I won't. I don't care. It's something that I'm passionate about doing. And I'm going to keep doing it. So I don't care. Come at me. YouTube shuts me down again. Whatever. I'll just go somewhere else. I'm out on Rumble and Spotify and Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts and everything else. So, YouTube is just one way to go about it. And, you can only cut so many people out of something before everybody just says, fuck you. I mean, American people, we'll take a certain amount. And it's funny to me because it seems like we're getting pretty close to that precipice right now, I would think. I'm sure as hell sick and tired of having to watch what I say. Everything I put out, it's marked as not for children, I'm approaching a different audience. I'm not putting out, Teletubbies or Disney bullshit. So yeah, we've got the refineries running at 95% capacity right now. Come on, that's not going to be enough to cause fuel. Fuel prices were already going through the roof before the whole thing. Dipshit wants to blame Putin. And look what our sanctions did. We're going to bring it. The ruble is the best performing currency on the planet after these sanctions. Well, that didn't work out so well, did it? And what's number 2? The real from Brazil. Off of the petrodollar. The Saudis are putting out videos clowning him, clowning us. I mean, oh, here was another funny one I saw the other day. Popeye. They're now coming at Popeye. Who's watched Popeye recently? Anybody? We got this Randall Milhouse Van Hoot. I don't know. He's all just wound up about Popeye. Who fucking watches Popeye? Jesus Christ. This guy's, I don't know what he's trying to say. He wants to, he's mad because he's a white sailor. I mean, or he's a man. When did we, I don't get it. When you're writing a script, okay, your definitions of your characters are grounded in a number of different things. Number one, you have male and female leads for the most part. Unless it's but even if it's a homosexual movie, you're still going to have, the other sex involved. It's part of life. It's part of biology. We are different. There's nothing wrong with it. If you're going to take I don't even know when Popeye even started. It's been around. I remember watching that shit when I was a kid and it was old then. Come on now. So they want to, it's like, what are we going to, everybody's just going to be some androgynous fucking zombie that just wanders around and you don't know if you've got a penis or a vagina or both or what, or you can't call, I don't get it. What are you going to say? Oh yeah, I asked her out. Oh, I can't call her. Like you ask somebody out on a date and what? We have no problem in saying that that Beaker that shot all that people up over there in Illinois the other day, there was no problem in the newscast saying that he was dressed up like a woman. What's a woman? We've got a Supreme Court justice that can't define it, but how could we say what women's clothing is? But they sure as hell on the news said that that's how he got out of there, was he dressed up like a woman. He was dressed in woman's clothing. Go look at it. Is that not a double standard? Why would we say that? Why would we have any basis in differentiating between men and women's clothing if we can't define what either one is? I can tell you a definition. I can damn sure give you a definition. I've got 100% rating at that through my life. Not bragging, but it's not hard. And if you make the mistake, then, well, we won't go there. I don't need to get down that route. Allegedly. But seriously, if we're going to sit here and we're going to say that a Supreme Court justice can't define what a woman is, but yet we're going to say that this criminal, this psychopath that unleashed this terrible act of violence on society, that the way he got away was dressing up in women's clothing, but yet a justice on the Supreme Court, the ultimate, the ultimate part of the judicial branch, can't define a woman because she's not a biologist. Well, then how can you define women's clothing? That pretty much draws the line, right? It means there's no line, right? There's no, so how are you going to say that? How come nobody threw a fit over that? Everybody wants to sit here and nitpick on pronouns and words and this and that, whine and snivel. Why didn't anybody say anything about that? That was just fine, though, right? Because we had to describe what he had to be described as far as what he looked like after he pulled off this atrocity. Now, if there's no way to define it, why wouldn't they have just said, not brought that up? If it didn't matter, why would they introduce Karine Jean-Pierre as the new White House press secretary by defining her as, number one, a member of the LGBTQIA plus community and being a black female? If these are things that are not defined, then why would you even have to? Why would you not just say this person here? I'd like to introduce you to the new press secretary. She's incredibly qualified. She's going to do a great job. Please welcome Ketanji Jean-Pierre. Or I'm not Ketanji. I'm sorry, Karine. I got the names mixed up. I'm sorry, Karine Jean-Pierre. Why wouldn't it's the same thing with Ketanji Brown Jackson. Why does she have to be defined as a black woman? Why isn't she just defined as this is the person for the job? And she's going to do a great job. And on we go. See, this is the problem with all this stuff. When we put these labels, we grandstand these labels. Like everybody grandstands these labels, these these definitions. But then they say no discrimination. But in defining that, to define somebody, are you not labeling them? I mean, if I have to be described to somebody as their white friend, is that not already putting a label on my head? Is that not racist? I've always said is when we come to a point where we just call each other by our names and we recognize one another by our qualifications, our character, our personalities, then this all exists. And so to sit there and act like you're woke because you can define people as this and that and the other thing based on their appearance, their sexuality, their gender identity, what have you, all these other different fucking stupid things. Why don't we just recognize people by their name, their character, their qualities? I mean, we don't sit there and talk about, somebody's lack of quality or character and then say, oh, it's because they're such and such. I mean, some people still do, and that goes on everywhere. I mean, racism is racism too. I'm not going to get into the whole thing about that, but it's just fucking stupid. We have become so entrenched in a game of just absolute moronic lunacy. It's fucking ridiculous. It's so fucking stupid. Identity politics, virtue signaling. That's what happened there with the new press secretary. That was virtue signaling from the left in a huge way. And they're more guilty of it than anybody. And they're more unhinged. And don't get me wrong, I've got plenty of problems with both parties. I don't like a single one. I don't like either party. Not at all. But I do know, and you can tell me to go fly a kite or whatever, go jump in a lake, whatever you want to do. But the deal is, with Trump in office, there's not people falling off of a C-15 2,000 feet to their death with the last military plane leaving Afghanistan. Okay? That doesn't happen, number one. Okay? So let's just put that out there. Nobody cares about those people, though, do they? Doesn't matter. Just some brown dude over there in Afghanistan didn't know, his life doesn't matter. It's inconsequential, right? Yeah. There wouldn't have been billions of dollars worth of, the highest tech military gear and $1 billion fucking Air Force base left to the Taliban. Right? Putin doesn't invade Ukraine. Gas prices don't go through the roof. Sure, other things continue to perhaps go down. I mean, the pandemic was something that, I'm just saying, how else were you going to get Trump out of office? You had to crash the economy, right? How do you do that? How does Anthony Fauci come out in 2017? Anthony Fauci, the guy, right? Saint Fauci, indisputable, supreme liar of the land. How many times that guy get caught up in lies? Still, to this day, he just lies. They finally shut down the Beagle thing. Did you guys see what they're doing to those poor dogs? I mean, everybody out there loves dogs. Who doesn't love a Beagle, for Christ's sake? They're a lovable little character. And they're putting them in these mesh things with their heads in there, and they're letting sand fleas eat them alive to do these studies. And they step in and they find, we're not going to do that with the Beagles anymore. No more Beagles. We're just going to use rodents. Well, if you're doing something that's harmful to any living creature, especially something torturous, I don't know. You can say all these good things and this and that came from animal experimentation, and maybe you're right. I don't know. That's not a space that I fill. But I don't know. I mean, I eat meat, yeah. But, in the past number of years, I've bought a live on the hoof calf. And it lives a great life. Free and easy. And when it comes time for, time to go to the processor, the animal's put down humanely. It's not in the back of a trailer going through a line where it knows what's going to happen to it. And then maybe they hit it with a bolt gun, maybe it dies, maybe it doesn't. I mean, you've seen the footage with those, the beef, the hanging, and pigs, same thing. They're just still twitching and shit, still alive, and they're on the hook and going through those stupid conveyor lines. And I mean, that is rough, and it's inhumane, and it's not how things were supposed to be. We were supposed to raise our food, but that's another conversation for another time. But we've become so far alienated from the things that we need. We don't grow our own food. We don't know where it comes from. We just go over there and we buy it. Spend whatever they want to charge us for. It's full of fucking fertilizer and garbage and preservatives. I mean, you know how long an apple, you think you're going to get a fresh apple from your grocery store? No. That thing's been sitting in a truck or a trailer or something for a year to 2 years. They've sprayed it down with shit. One would think that French fries would be French fries, oil, some salt. There's 17 ingredients in McDonald's French fries. Last I checked, there might be more now. But we've got to get back in touch with who we are and what's important. What is important? Is taking Popeye off the, what are you getting? Taking Popeye away? Is that important? Is it important that people are dying in this country from, mass casualty events, but yet we're okay with sending billions of dollars in armaments overseas to kill kids and people in other countries that we know nothing about? We're going to grandstand and throw a fit about the Second Amendment here in this country, but yet it's okay to send all that shit over there to Ukraine. How many little kids have been killed over there? And you can say Putin all you want, but those people in the Donbass have been being shelled and taken out since 2014 by their own country. 14,000 of them. Do your homework. Look it up. I ain't lying to you. This is why Jackson Hinkle got demonetized, because he wasn't afraid to come out and talk about these things. He's had the most complete coverage on the Ukraine of just about anybody I've seen. He's been on the forefront of everything. He's been on it. He's getting the truth, and because of that, he's getting penalized for it. And that's what always going to happen. That's what happens in society. That's what happens in your fucking democracy. Everybody wants to say, "Oh, it's democracy in Ukraine." No, it's not. These people have been being shelled in the Donbass region by neo-Nazis, by the Azov battalion of the Ukrainian military. They've been taking out their own people. I mean, to me, that sounds like genocide to me. I've had a couple people go, "Well, 14,000 isn't that many in 8 years." What do you mean? One person being shelled and taken out for reasons of that nature by neo-Nazis is too many. Sit there and tell me that 14,000 is an insignificant number? That's a time and a half of the amount of people that live in this town where I live. And you're going to tell me that's insignificant? Come on. But shit, you come out and you say something about it, and then all of a sudden, these big tech giants they're gonna shut you down, because guess what? You're not playing right. You know how many different things I've gotten on over the last number of weeks that services I've subscribed to or whatever, and up on top there's a little banner that says, click here if you support Ukraine and you want to donate. I think we already fucking donated $56 billion fucking dollars. I mean, isn't that a big enough donation? That's your money. That's my money, right? And these people have the nerve to put that shit up on their website, asking you to fucking shell out more fucking dough. Hell, I'd like to see that $56 billion come back here and end homelessness, put food in people's bellies, put clothes on kids' backs, shoes on their feet, do some work in these inner city areas, and get some shit right in our own fucking backyard. I mean, you got to clean house in your own place before you start fucking going gallivanting all over the fucking goddamn world. But these oligarchs don't give a shit, because Joe Biden ain't putting no money in that fucking Air Force One. None of these politicians, none of these oligarchs, they don't. This doesn't affect them, and that's why they don't care about you, and they don't care about me. And anybody who thinks so and wants to go to bat and tee off on your neighbor because you got the different colored hats on, you're being stupid, because you both are arguing over something that's fucking retarded. Okay? It's fucking stupid. To sit here and say that, either you want to be an elephant or a jackass, no, I'd rather not be either one, tell you the truth. I mean, in nature, they got their own idiosyncratic benefits. I mean, shit, the best thing to watch your sheep from wolves is a damn donkey. They hate wolves. They keep a sheep safer than a sheepdog does. But they're cantankerous and nasty. An elephant is a pretty smart motherfucker too. I don't know. Why don't we start the dolphin party? I mean, who cares? Represented by an animal. How dumb. How stupid. That's why I'm about the people's party. And I think that should just go without saying. I mean, that's why I'm an anarchist. And everybody goes, oh, anarchy, that's such a bad word. No, it's not. It means you respect other people's person. You respect other people's privacy. And you respect everything about them. You do unto others. That's all anarchy is. It's not about going and burning shit down and being like those idiots in Portland or any other city where they just go out and let's light shit on fire. A true anarchist does not go out and just light shit on fire. Okay? Do your homework. That's not what anarchy is about. It's not what an anarchist is. An anarchist is about doing no harm. And that's why I end every show with that. That's what it's about. It's become a dysphemism over the years because, well, you got like the anarchist cookbook, right? But it somewhere along the line, that term became dysphemistic when in fact it's not. A true anarchist does not want to light your shit on fire, does not want to go out and cause melees and chaos in the streets and beat up people and, loot stores. That's not what a true anarchist is. That's not any part of the tenets of anarchy. And if you look it up, which I encourage you to do so if you want to argue with me, if you want to go to task on it, then we can. But I implore you to do your homework on it first. Because you'd be coming at somebody that has done their homework on it. So that's why I define myself as such, because I don't believe in harming other people. I don't believe in taking other people's stuff. I don't believe in lighting other people's shit on fire. I don't believe in riots and chaos. I believe if you have a disagreement with somebody that you sit down and you discuss it and you handle it. And you figure it out. If you've been done wrong, then you sit down and you deal with it. And that used to be that was the idea of the judicial system here, but we all know how well that works out. And mainly because we've got such a complicated fucking mess. I mean, who out there knows the tax code? Good luck reading through that shit. I mean, what the powers that be have done is they've complicated things to such an extent that a normal human being doesn't have time to even figure it out. And why is that? Well, because they put you to work. You bust your ass all day. You come home. You got time to sit there and go read through the tax code. So not only do you get hit with taxes, now you got to go pay an accountant to just decipher all the shit and hope that you've got it all. They get it right and you don't get audited or whatever. So they can take more money that's involuntarily already taken from you. I mean, I was talking to my kid about that. He got his first few paychecks, and I'm like, yeah, look at that, He's like, yeah, what's up with that? I said, yeah. I said, you didn't authorize that, did you? Well, no. I said, yeah. Well, welcome to life. I mean, you go and you put in your hard time, your labor, and you're making a shit wage as it is, and then they still got to take their cut. You go to the store to buy something. Every dollar you spend here in Wyoming, it's 5%. God knows what it is in California or Washington State or anything like that now. I'm sure I think it was 8.9 when I left Washington back in 2006. So, I see a moth up there. I'm going to have to get out my bug assault. Get that guy with some rock salt. You can turn a pellet gun into a bug assault. They have them at Walmart too for like $20. If I go out there today, I'm going to buy one. Just a little platter. You put rock salt in and you pink. Anyhow, all right. I know I missed some stuff. Might catch up again later. We'll see. I'm going to go tool around and see if I can find some cool rocks or fossils or something. Get a little fresh air. So, all right. And keep an eye out for what goes on here with Hunter Biden, because if there's 500 gigs of this information and his hacked phone is coming out, then I don't know, they'll suppress it. They'll figure out a way to suppress it. It'll be suppressed constantly, and that should infuriate everybody. It infuriates me, because you damn sure know if that was Donald Trump Jr., shit, he'd have been impeached 67 times from the time that stupid thing came out. And they put it down. Oh, it's Russian misinformation. After the election, and then finally, like a year in, they got to come out and own it and say, "Oh yeah, that was legit." I mean, tell me that's not election fraud. Tell me that's not election fraud. They shut down the New York Post, one of the longest running publications in this country, started by Alexander Hamilton, who the cast members of such namesake play decide to stop the play and go after Mike Pence when he's there watching it. Yet the paper that dude founded is kicked off Twitter, and they're the ones that broke the story. And they're made to be looking like they're putting out misinformation. And then they got to come out and do a retraction a year and a half later. But yet the dude's still out there. There's pictures, there's video of him. There's one of him measuring out his crack. There's another one he's walking around the house naked with a gun that was ill-begotten that he got from, by lying on his background check paperwork. Nobody says that's okay. It's Hunter Biden. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. Well, let's flip the script. What say you if that's Donald Trump Jr.? Good question, right? In all things, flip the script. I'd do it any other way. I don't care. Flip it. Flip it around. Ask yourself how it would be handled one way or another. If the shoe was on the other foot, how would this be looked at? And if there's a discrepancy in how it would be looked at, then you know that there's an injustice being done. That things aren't right. It's real easy. It's real easy. It's not hard to do. You just have to think about it a little bit and not get all those emotions all wound up in it and get all fucking stupid and triggered and goofy. You know? That's it. Bottom line. So with that in mind, I'm getting out of here. Y'all be good or be good at it. And all things be kind and do no harm. And those are the words of an anarchist right there, okay? Just keep that in mind. All right. I'm out. What did I see the other day? Oh, God, I'll have to bring this one back later. I'm out of here. Oh, it was Seacrest out. Brian Griffin said that on Family Guy. Goes, Seacrest out. So Seacrest out.